The Ticket Machine is the official ticket broker of Spartan Nation. No matter what you need a ticket for, border to border, coast to coast, the Ticket Machine is your ticket source. So whether you need to get into the hottest concerts, the best sporting events, you want the best seats in the house, or you just want to get in the door, when you want to go to any event that requires a ticket, anywhere, border to border, coast to coast, it's always theticketmachine.com. Theticketmachine.com, 517-655-3201. Check it out today at theticketmachine.com.
Welcome back, Spartan Nation Radio. Great to have everybody with us. We now bring in for the good, the bad, and the ugly of Spartan basketball, the one, the only, the iconic wonder, legendary State of Michigan Prep High School football and basketball coach and longtime Spartan Nation contributor, the great Coach Chuck Kinnear. Coach, how are you?
I'm cold. It's cold up here. I'm cold.
Well, it's funny because you have officially become a wimp. Because before... You never once would have ever said it. Now you're whining like a little schoolgirl who lost her Twinkie.
It's warmed up considerably this morning. Right now it's -8, so it's warmed up quite a bit.
All right. Coach, let's start, good, bad, and the ugly of Spartan basketball. I'm going to say this, and I've been accused before of being an apologist. But, Coach, you've been with me now for almost 10 years. Actually, for more than 10. You know that I am not the least bit afraid to be critical of Spartan athletics. Not the least bit afraid. But when you are down 2 pro players, starters, when Kyle Arns can't play, he's a starter, and Matt McQuaid is probably 40%, they just ran out of gas and bodies. To me, it was a tough loss. Now, there was shame in the loss to Indiana at the Breslin Center. There's no shame in this one. Where am I wrong?
No, not really. So they're down 2.5 bodies, and towards the end of the game, they were down 3 bodies at that time. That's an awful lot to be down when you're not real deep on the bench. Your number 2, your number 3 scorers are gone. Kyle played a little bit the first half there, the second half, and you could just see he relies a lot on athleticism. It wasn't there. No, they were down 2.5, 3 bodies for that game, and the way that they play, the physical, high-octane game that they play, they did wear down. And it would have been nice to have a few more timeouts taken during that time and really help them out a little bit, but it wasn't done. And they just, you could see during the course of the game, especially just before that 9-0 run that Indiana did when State was up 11, you could see them dragging up and down the floor a little bit. But they were out of gas.
Let's talk a little bit about Tom Izzo. I think Drew Neitzel's junior year, I've said this for years, was his best coaching job. I think they're going to be a number 2 seed. I do think they will beat Nebraska. I'm not sure yet to make a prediction, although I do think that there's a good chance they're going to beat Michigan. I'm 50-50 on that one right now. But if they win out, get a number 2 seed, do you think this has been Tom Izzo's best coaching job of his career?
When you're playing for the championship of the Big Ten and you've got teams like Michigan in there and the way Purdue has come on, and probably one of the toughest conferences in the nation, and you're down 2.5, 3 players now, your number 2, your number 3 scorer, and you're still in the hunt. You got to say that this is a great year. You got to say that. He has done a great job of holding the guys together. The guys are a good group of guys, and they listen to what he has to say. That's important too. But yeah, to be down this much as far as your starters and the depth of your bench, yeah, he's did a great job.
I agree with you. So, Coach, let's break through the team a little bit. Let's start with Xavier Tillman. There are a lot of people who think, even if Nick Ward is back for the Michigan game, and by the way, I do believe he will be, that they're better with Xavier Tillman starting and bringing Nick Ward off the bench. I'm going to tell everyone right now that is not going to happen. Izzo is not going to bench Nick Ward, and not bench him, but not start him. I think there's a lot more behind the scenes there than in front of the scenes. I think flat out they are better with Xavier starting than Nick, but he's not going to do it. What do you think about the player Xavier Tillman?
Well, first of all, when you're a coach at that level and dealing with those players, you're not only coaching athletics and basketball, you're coaching egos, and I think that's got a lot to play in it. I believe that they are better with Xavier, and for this reason only. He is such a much better defensive player than Nick Ward is. Xavier does not take plays off. Xavier does not go slow. He's all out into it. He's scoring well. He scores on the garbage. He scores on the given or the slip plays, and he does get his points. And with Nick out there, Nick creates another problem for another team. Nick creates turmoil in the paint, and he's in there and he's bouncing around and bouncing. And if you allow him to do that, if other teams allow him to get in there and bang and bump around on that, Nick's going to score 20 on you, and he's going to play good defense on there. But overall, defensive and offensive side of the half court line, I think Xavier is a better player. But again, like I said at the beginning of this question, not only do you coach young men in athletics, you also coach, you have to be a psychologist too to some point, and you got to coach ego. So Nick will come back and Nick will play and start. And Xavier coming off the bench is going to be that really good 1-2 punch that they had before.
Everybody loves him. Men want to be him. Women want to be with him. Puppies want to call him their owner. Clowns want to be at his birthday party. They pay to go to his birthday party. The great Coach Chuck Minier. The good, and the bad, and the ugly with Spartan basketball. Cassius Winston. I mean, do we need to say anything else? This guy's just a human highlight reel.
Now, let's just say this about Cassius. Every game that they go into, the defensive scheme that a team is going to have against Michigan State is how do we slow this guy down? You know you're not going to stop him, but you know you're going to have to try to slow him down. And I think at the end of the game against Indiana, you saw what Indiana tried to do. They tried to get in his face. They tried to jump at him at every chance and just harass him so that he just couldn't go wild on him. And Cassius Winston, even though that game plan is there for the opposing teams, still is so clever and is so into the offense and his teammates that he's able to do double-doubles, get his points, get his teammates to get their points, and just play superb defensively. I don't know why there has to be a vote for Big Ten Player of the Year. They should just throw their hands up and ship the trophy to him because he is definitely the best player in the Big Ten.
If he doesn't win the award, they shouldn't have the award.
No, they shouldn't. They have a recount. There's what were those chats in Florida? The chats were hanging or something along that line. If he doesn't win the Big Ten award, this is the biggest cover-up since I don't know when. So,
all right. So, Coach, we're talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly with Spartan basketball. I want to switch a little bit of a direction and talk about Kenny Goins. I love this kid. We have lauded him all year, how great he's played at Indiana. He was not as successful on the boards, but overall still, I mean, everybody's allowed to have a bad game. I still am in awe at what Kenny Goins has done for this team.
Well, we talked earlier about tired, and I think they were wearing some lead-filled Nikes during that game. And, it's just, you can't go out and play Cassius Winston 30, 36, 40 minutes a game. Kenny Goins pretty much playing all the time, Tillman playing all the time. And, you just don't have the bench strength. And there's just going to be those times. And you saw that when they were playing Illinois. They just needed to recharge the batteries. And, Kenny Goins is playing way beyond, I think, anybody expected Kenny Goins to play. And, if he's not getting the game that he had against Indiana, why is that? I think they were just tired. They needed more rest. They needed more bench. And it's too bad some of the younger players aren't coming off the bench and have become a little bit better through the course of the year. I know Kissier has. Uh, it's just a problem when you get Kyle Arns is not playing at half or at 50%. You know, it's just tough. Kenny Goins is doing a great job, and the bubble has burst on the Big Ten championship unless something dramatic happens, and I don't think that's going to happen. But they've had a great year. They've had a wonderful year as far as playing in the Big Ten, especially when you consider the injuries and the schedule they've had to play. So, yeah, he's done a great job, and it's just one of those things.
Last one, Coach, is Aaron Henry. Everybody loves Aaron. Terrific kid, great basketball player, but the young man has got to shoot the basketball.
He's got to. He's got to work on dribbling. He gets the ball. He's just a young player, and when he played high school ball last year, he could get away with wide dribbles. He could get away with bringing the ball to his belly all the time, and that's what kills him. When he goes at the hole, he's got the wide dribble. Opposing teams know that on their scouting report, you know, and they're sticking their hand out and getting it. And he likes to go and gather the ball at his belt line and go up. Opposing teams know that too. But yeah, he can shoot the ball. It's just like we talked about last time with who's the most important player. Well, one of the most important players coming forward in the rest of the year would have been Matt McQuaid. And why? Because he's got to be aggressive. He's got to shoot the ball. The defenses, the teams that they play against have got to respect that outside threat. And if Aaron doesn't want to shoot the ball and it doesn't look like he wants to shoot the ball, he's got to shoot the ball more, become more of an outside threat. And if he becomes more of an outside threat, it won't be so jammed up in the paint that he's seeing right now. But he's got a great mid-range jumper. He's just got to be able to utilize that.
He is the one, the only, the iconic wonder himself, the great coach Chuck Grenier, the good, the bad, and the ugly of Spartan basketball.